What is going on, YouTube? In this video, I've got something a little bit different. As you guys can see, I'm in the practice mode screen right now, but this is something that I actually do want to talk about. I see people on Twitter always talking about playbooks and different things, ranking them, and I kind of wanted to put my own spin on it. And in this video, we're just going to be breaking down, in my opinion, the top 10 offensive playbooks in Madden 26. And coming from someone who has used every single playbook and set like 40 different audibles, I think I'm pretty good to take this advice on. So I do have a couple of honorable mentions before we get into the main bulk of the video. I'm gonna do 3 playbooks for the honorable mentions because there are a ton in this game that are very good, and if you are using these, don't feel like you're stupid for doing it. But the first one that I think actually is pretty good is the Arizona Cardinals playbook. I'm not gonna go in-game and break down why, but there are a bunch of different bunches, and if you guys do know how to do the route flip glitch with slot phase and stuff, the main formations do have that as well. So I think it's pretty good. Plus you can run the ball a little, depending on what defenses they run. So I think that does have a bit of value. The next playbook that I think is really, really good is the Bears playbook. It does have just a bunch of different formations, although I think it fails to truly specialize in one. Not to mention, it does have the direct snap that people are running, but I think outside of that, it does get very rough passing wise, and I do think there are a little bit more options in terms of actually running a passing offense. But this could easily be like 9th or 10th on the list. I just think if you don't want to run direct snap, this isn't the playbook for you, and it gets pretty ugly if it's not. The next playbook is, excuse me, the Chargers playbook, which is a little bit like the Cardinals playbook, but I do think that having bunch tight end weak in this game is a bit better, and that tight Y off week is super underrated in my personal opinion. But with that being said, that's it for the honorable mentions. Let's get right into the video. Anyone that's interested in getting better at Madden, head on over to adjust.gg. Over there, you're going to find weekly tips and ebooks made by me over the course of the entire Madden season. Anything that you need to get better at Madden, head on over and check it out over there at adjust.gg. Okay, so for the first playbook that we have here, I actually picked one that's probably a bit of a wild card, but it is the Houston Texans offensive playbook. And I think there's a particular reason why I do like this a lot. So there is one formation that I think hasn't really been ran enough, and it kind of's been ran a lot, and it's bunch tight end strong. It has a lot more variety than bunch tight end weak, especially when you're going game to game against certain opponents. It has a lot of routes that the other bunch tight end fails to actually have. I do think the one problem with it is it does have a lot of tells, and you guys will see right here, I can kind of come out in a play, and I'm trying to find the route real quick. So it's this play right here, which again, we were talking about the route flips. This does have a bit of a tell, but if you do come out in it, you can actually have this guy on a flip, and there's also the other auto motions that have the inside guy on a flip. So I do think that does have a bit of value if you want to put different unique routes. Again, it's very different. I think it's very off meta, and no one runs it, but I'm not really too sure why. Like I said, it has a really good bunch. The bunch nasty actually is a bit runnable. You have the, again, kind of the route flip thing with the running back. You just come out and put them on a route and it reverses, which a lot of people do now. You do have some other plays, basic switch, dig return, which is one of my favorite plays, and mesh spot. So the bunch is good. The bunch Y flex, again, it has these like running back swing routes that go along the side of the opposite of the field. The trips head end is decent. The normal Y off close does have like 2 plays. I think it's okay, it's just one play. I thought it had Y sail, but it is cheat flat post. That is okay, and you can run it. But I think this playbook is pretty underrated, and I think a lot of people should probably look into it. I think the last formation that is good in this is bump spread nasty. The mesh traffic route is super good, and it's the same as the regular bunch. So it's just a lot of variety, and because it's a different book, it is a lot easier to score in the red zone. As you guys can see, it has a QB zone as well. But with that being said, let's get to the next one. All right. Next one, we do have the, excuse me, Buccaneers playbook. And this playbook, I think, is a bit of a little brother to a playbook that's going to be higher on the list. But as you guys can see, you get tight doubles, you get tight open, you get normal Y off close with a couple of plays. But the tight open, I think, actually does provide a little bit of value. It has a short post, it has like these flat routes, it has fast tables. Tight doubles, kind of a bit of the same thing. And they do kind of attack different things at the same time. One has a draw. I think both might actually have a draw in this playbook. Yeah, they do. But it is pretty good. The bunch tight end is whatever. I believe it has the off tackle. You have a duo, I think, out of this, or it might have just been the RPO. duo, but bunch strong nasty is okay. You could run it. Trips tight end is one of the better ones in the game. You have Trips X nasty, trio Y flex, cluster halfback strong can be an audible. So if you're looking to run like slightly off meta tour offenses, I think Bucks and Texans are really, really good. I do think outside of that, if you are looking to run main formations, these definitely aren't for you, and I can't really have them higher because there are more that do the audible thing a lot better anyways. All right, next one, we have the San Francisco 49ers playbook. And this one, I'm actually really surprised not many more people run it. And there's a reason why. So doubles flex, if this is a formation that you guys like, this does add a lot of value to the playbook itself. And the red zone, it has a bunch of different things, so it's a bit more unique. The bunch isn't really great. You can kind of do some of the route flip stuff, but besides that, it doesn't have too much. It has mesh spot and dig return, but you don't get anything else. So I don't think the bunch is really good enough. But the Trips X nasty, in my opinion, might be the most unused formation in Madden. And unfortunately, the best one is in a playbook that isn't necessarily the best. But it does have the best play, which is the switch halfback wheel. It's a short post, very easy to quick snap. Not only that, but it does have 3 unique routes that you can probably use to create plays on their own. The wheel route, the fade, and then the post. So this does have a lot of value. Not to mention, this empty bunch tight, I believe it's made waves in college football. But if you did want to run this, I really would not be mad at you for it. I believe this audible is pretty quick too, and I'll just double check it right now. But I believe you can just audible to this very, very quickly and snap in like 2 seconds if you have Master Tactician and Mutt. In regs, not so much, but this play is really, really good. As you can see, I already have some audibles set, and it has some of these running back routes that make bunch super good as well. So if you do want to run like a main offense, I do think Niners playbook is really good. But outside of that, the playbook itself can get a little tough. All right, in the next one, we have the Cleveland Browns offensive playbook. This is the first main bunch playbook that we have. Bunch X nasty, that is. It has its own unique play, the double post halfback corner, but no one really uses it. Outside of that, it's essentially a really full bunch. It has all the plays that you need. That if you want to run other stuff in this, that's where it gets hard in my opinion. I think the trips flex is a fine audible, but I think the red zone does get a bit rough. You don't really have a ton of runs that are good for the way this game plays, which essentially is halfback draw. And as you can see, there's one that's in a formation you'd call, and this actual draw isn't very good. It kind of hands off like a duo. There's a lot less control, and even like the outside zones, they are a bit rough. You do have some stretches and some pistol runs. If you were going to run this, I'd highly recommend using this U off trips. But other than that, I think it's a little rough. But if you are just going to sit and bunch and you want like trips as a second offense to audible to, I think this is the way to go for sure. And the next one, we've got the Steelers offensive playbook. And this is the one that won Madden Bowl, Drainy won Madden Bowl running Steelers tight doubles. And you guys can see right here that this is the fullest tight doubles in the game. It has 2 plays that aren't in any of the other ones, which are shot, fade, cross, and I believe it's bench. And there might be one more that is in others. I think it's the inside zone that's not in this. Excuse me. Still recovering from getting sick. But this is pretty good. I do think that it does lack a little red zone wise in terms of some runs. But you do get tight doubles. You do get trips flex again. And again, it's something, if you want to run something that's not bunch, this definitely is the best formation. Trips X Nasty probably is the 3rd best main offense in the game. And that Trips Nasty does struggle a little bit, and this one kind of makes up for it. This does lack a little bit of the running back routes that you get in bunch, but it does make up for it with some of these short posts, short crossers. Not to mention, it does have some audibles, like the bunch is like okay if you go to it every now and then. You get Trips X Nasty, you get cluster, you have like a full playbook, and now we're getting into, you have a complete playbook, you're not really lacking too much. The only thing in my opinion, and it could be lack of experience running it, but when I did run tight doubles early in August, red zone was a bit of a pain, but always having like a trip set, and you do have 2, it is a lot easier scoring in the red zone. All right, in our next one, we've got the Washington Commanders offensive playbook, and now we're starting to get into super meta stuff, and some people might like that, some people might not, but if you do want to run bunch with a twist, this bunch strong is pretty good. I know I've kind of spoken about it a couple of times, and if you guys don't know about it, go ahead and check out adjust.gg. I do go over some of this stuff when it comes to route flipping and whatnot, but you do have the ability to do some route flip stuff with the tight end. Same thing as Cardinals. You can do it out of the bunch tight end, which does have some okay plays. But I think the big thing that sets this playbook across the rest of some of the more off-meta-ish stuff is the red zone is really, really good. This trips tight end is a full one. You also have some of this empty stuff, empty bunch, empty chips tight, just a bunch of stuff you can randomly go to. This quads, this screen isn't as good as the other one. That's in, I believe, the Jaguars playbook. But it does have a lot of stuff. I do think it's a little underrated, and it does have some of the bubblegum like option RPOs inside the 10 or inside like inches or 5 yards, whatever the case is. These are really good to go to. In this one, we've got the Kansas City Chiefs offense, and this is the offense that Asher ran to make the Madden Bowl final. And this playbook, in my opinion, is really, really good. I think it's really only maximized if you are good at speed boosting on outside zone runs. But in terms of all of the main bunch playbooks you can run, this definitely is the best red zone. You do have a bunch that's pretty much the same as Browns. You're missing that short post play. Like I said, that play isn't the biggest deal. But you get all these other bunches that have toss and outside zone, and you get some sort of trips alignments, and you get some of the speed options from bunch tight end. So I think this is definitely the most complete playbook if you care about being able to pass, having the most meta offense, and also having runs and stuff. So a lot of these playbooks, it's if you want to run bunch, for example, I run Ben-Kurt Dimes. I don't have a lot in the red zone, so I'm kind of lacking there. Some of these playbooks might not have as many runs, so it's harder to game manage and clock a game out. So this is definitely probably the most complete playbook in my opinion if you're only running bunch. If you're not, there's definitely another one that's about to come up that you'll guys like. All right, and this one, actually, I was wrong before. It's 2 playbooks. I think this one is a really good playbook. It's just very particular with the formation you run. But this is the New Orleans Saints offense, and we're just going to hit first one of the things it does very well. I do think the red zone is pretty good. It, again, has a lot of variety. Not only that, you do get a good amount of audibles. The doubles flex is the most complete one in the game. It has the short crosser on the solo. By solo, I mean the tight end side. So you are you're not missing that play, as some of these that are in Jags or that we went over in Niners. It's not the most complete one. This is a complete doubles. A lot of people do like doubles in this game, so it's good to have. Bunch tight end weak. It's the same one as the one in Jags playbook, but it's an okay formation. I never understood running it as the main one, but if you are going to run this playbook, you're going to evenly go across 2 to 3, maybe even 4 formations. But this formation's all right. Bunch X nasty, and this isn't very good, but it does have a couple of plays, so if you wanted to go to it, you have that option. Trips X nasty, kind of the same thing. It was meta last year, or it was the meta for off-meta players last year, but this year, it's whatever. It's okay. Not too good, not too bad, but it's there if you want it. Wild Trio Close, kind of the same thing. At this point in the year, probably stay away from it. And then you have Trips Flex. And Trips Flex, again, it's pretty good, especially when you audible to it, because you can get those unique routes that you can't otherwise. And the red zone of this is pretty good. So this is probably an audibler's like complete playbook, because you have the red zone, you do have some of the runs because you have a draw, you have RPOs. So this definitely is really good if you are looking to kind of audible while also scoring in the red zone and having enough. All right, in this one, we've got Ben-Kurt Dimes offensive playbook. This is the one I've ran essentially since like the end of October. And unless I want to have fun and try different things, if there was a tournament tomorrow, it's probably gonna be the one I'm running. And it's definitely the most bare bones playbook. Like I said, it's lacking a lot. I've actually gotten used to using bunch tight end as a clocking offense, but red zone, in my opinion, in this is very, very tough. But let's talk about the good things in this and why it's not the best playbook in the game afterwards. So it has every single bunch play in the game, which in this meta, for better or worse, depending on who you are, it's got every play. So it's a good thing, it's a bad thing. You can do all of the route stuff. You have an audible that's okay for managing the clock. It's a full bunch tight end that has off tackle, the RPO, auto motions, halfback draw, which I've said before, it's really, really good, especially against dollar. So it is good to have, especially in those late game situations. And then you have 2 other formations you can probably use for the red zone if you want. This trio halfback week has a QB blast, and then the Y trips has some of these weird plays, which if you wanted to run them, you can. I personally don't, but it does have like goal line fork zig, which has been a staple in the red zone for the past like year or so. So it does have a little bit, but I'll be honest, it's not nearly enough in the red zone in my opinion, but it is the best bunch in the game, so it kind of gets a bit of a boost for it. With that being said, let's go to number one. And number one, and I already kind of mentioned it a couple times, but it was going to be Jack's playbook. Keep in mind, playbooks in this game in general are pretty preference based, because everything is good, every playbook has a lot, and you're never really going to feel like you're going to lose because the playbook a good amount in this Madden. But Madden 26, this is definitely the best playbook. You can run a lot of things as a main offense if you want to run bunch tight end weak, if you want to run even like bunch nasty and come out in it and go to some other things. You just have so many options. You have, I think, of the best offensive formations in the game, you have like 6 of those formations. Like doubles is super meta, bunch nasty is meta, both bunch tight ends can be meta. Wide off trio close was meta, not as meta anymore, but it's there. Like it's had so much longevity because of all the formations it's had. Tight doubles is another meta. I mean, trips, it's not really meta, but it's meta. It's just trips. It has all the runs. The red zone, I would say, is pretty good. A lot of people tend to say the meta or the red zone in this isn't very good, and it doesn't have enough off meta stuff. But it has some halfback draws, you guys can see, and it's all in formations you run. It has it in bunch tight end weak, has it in tight doubles, even like Trey Y flex. Like if you go to it, you have it. It has like a QB blast and weird red zone stuff in its own right. It's just everyone's ran it for so long, you kind of know everything. But this is definitely the best playbook in Madden. And let me know in the comments what you guys think is the best playbook in Madden. What playbook are you guys rocking? But with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video.